I am 90% convinced that Tomodachi Life will come to Switch, and I have several reasons for it. From statistics of Switch games to the 3DS game sales, this video has all the reasons why I think it will come to Switch. But before I even get started on why it's going to come to Switch, let me tell you what Tomodachi Life is for the people who clicked on this video despite not knowing what it is. Tomodachi Life, the perfect life simulator that anyone could enjoy with mixed with an excessive amount of humour. Honestly, I'm ashamed I lost my copy. That's right, I lost my copy of the game even though it's my second favourite game of all time. I don't even know how I did that one. The last time I remember seeing it, I literally put it in the case and left it. If the case for the game itself, but somehow not the game. And alone is something that greatly fuels my bias to wanting this game on Switch. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for a Tomodachi Life sequel and being disappointed with every Nintendo Direct. I got an all-time high in life when they released Utopia on the Switch, but no game can give off the same vibe in compared to Tomodachi Life. To put in perspective how long I've been waiting, my favourite game of all time is Breath of the Wild, and I've been waiting a good 5 years for a sequel, and I'm going to need to wait for another year. My second favourite game is Tomodachi Life, but I've wanted a sequel to Tomodachi Life more. Hell, I've been so starved of Tomodachi content that I ended up emulating the original Tomodachi game, Tomodachi Collection, on my laptop that was only released in Japan because I've been waiting for so long. And all I can do is hope and pray for an announcement for a sequel or a remake or whatever is in the next Nintendo Direct. It has been too long. On top of that, I also have watched Tomodachi Life video essays, icebergs, etc. in hope of new content I haven't consumed. I'm at a loss now, but I truly think that we have a chance for a remake or sequel now more than ever. Here's why. People make the point that Miitopia recently re-released on Switch and it received positive feedback, enough to be in the top 50 selling games on Switch, and on 3DS, Tomodachi Life did better than Miitopia, so there'll be no reason not to release Tomodachi Life on Switch. But I think that right now Nintendo is trying to revive Zelda games. This example is a bit of a stretch, but Super Mario 3D All-Stars released a year or so ago now, and that achieved some of the highest ratings and feedback Nintendo had gotten in ages, placing 14th in the highest selling games on Switch. Not only did it allow newer players to experience the magic of older Mario games, but also allowed them to appreciate the genius Nintendo used to have. The genius they put into Tomodachi Life, for example, an amazing game. I don't think anyone's actually played the game in a bad time. The 3DS sadly did worse than it could have due to lack of release titles when it first came out. I feel like people who 1 went live when the 3DS released or 2 didn't get a 3DS would appreciate it if the game came to Switch. My large point is though, is Nintendo Switch Sports. The last sports game we got was on the Wii, and the game was Wii Sports Resort, which released in 2009, but now they're making a sequel to that game 13 years later. That's insane. So I'd have no doubt that a game from 9 years ago would come to Switch. Additionally, Tomodachi Collection released in 2009 on DS, the same year as Wii Sports Resort, so if not a Tomodachi Life remake, then a Tomodachi Collection on Switch for the first time outside of Japan would be amazing to see. Even better would be a sequel marking the third in the series. I would like to add that the only problem with Nintendo Switch Sports is that the Miis are replaced by the Sports Mates in the game, and Tomodachi Life is an entirely Mii-based game. However, you will have the option to play as your Mii in Nintendo Switch Sports, just background characters will be Sports Mates. By the way, Tomodachi Life was a smash hit on the 3DS, surpassing massive titles such as Mario Maker, Yokai Watch, and Kirby, for God's sake, Kirby. When you Google Tomodachi Life Switch, you get tons and tons of results of people begging for Tomodachi Life on Switch. There's a petition on change.org for Tomodachi Life to be on Switch. That, at the moment, has over 13,000 signatures. That's a lot. I've even signed up myself, and the link to the petition is in the description. Go ahead and sign it. Hashtag Tomodachi Life for Switch, we can do this. But anyways, there are plenty of articles of people demanding Tomodachi Life remakes or sequels, and Nintendo usually aren't the ones to listen to the community, but it's to this extent they have. Case in point, this Reddit post from Eluvic Queen. It states everything that people wanted on Switch before it released that was delivered to them. Animal Crossing, Smash Bros. Hell, now we've even got Metroid Dread. We even got Steve in Smash Bros. We never would have predicted it, but the fans wanted it, so Nintendo gave them what they wanted. This next example is a bit biased, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Super Mario 3D World was a game that faced lots of backlash when it was announced. It was meant to be a 3D Mario game, but it was more of a 2.5D game than anything else. I never got the chance to play the game on Wii U because I never had one, but I watched Let's Plays of the game, specifically from We Like to Play, and I remember falling in love. The music, the ambiance, the circus themes mixed in with the themes from the Galaxy. So you can imagine the joy I felt when I found out that Super Mario 3D World would be releasing on Switch on February 2021, plus a new game releasing with it. That sort of made up for the $60 price. It was the first and only game I've ever pre-ordered because I was just that excited about the game. And by the way, Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is the game that people wanted in place of Super Mario 3D World when it came out, and now they've just given it to us like nothing ever happened. It was a large fleshed out map with a transportation system taking you from place to place in a fun and unique way, and honestly that's a perfect example of Nintendo listening to their fans. This brings me back to Tomodachi Life. Nintendo Switch Sports was definitely a game that people wanted on Switch, but it just wasn't the one. The one game that everyone has truly wanted on Switch was one with Miis, so this could be that redemption story with Super Mario 3D World. We get what we wanted after we got something that was just okay. Also, Earthbound and Mother on Switch, everyone wanted it, and they gave it to us. It did take them a long time, but we eventually got there. I'm also going to use this as a chance to request Mother 3 on Switch. I need it, we need it, it will get Nintendo sales. It's a win-win, please Nintendo, please. The Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite are portable consoles that are perfect for a game like Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life isn't a long-winded or story-driven game with the only real goal being to get your Mii to space. So unless you're insane, no one is really sitting there for hours on end playing Tomodachi Life to reach some stupid goal like an Animal Crossing. It's just the perfect game to play on long car rides or while out and about with nothing to do, so porting this game to specifically the Switch would be preferable. Playing a game like this that's so compact in your own little island is just a world that's built far better in short periods of time every day or so. This is also probably why Tomodachi Life on the 3DS works so well too, with a foldable device that fits neatly into your pocket that you can pull out and play whenever. Surely nothing could go wrong with it being on the Switch. Tomodachi Life being on the 3DS meant that it required 2 screens and also a touch feature to be played. The touch feature is more comfortable with the stylus, and also what could happen when you're playing the game docked. I guess it goes against what I was saying about the practicality, but there is always the option to play the game docked as well. I honestly don't think there'll be much of a problem with one screen on the Switch though, as they managed to work around it with Miitopia and other games ported from the 3DS, so I doubt that it will be much of a problem. But I'm more curious about how there would be a workaround for the touch screen. There was always the option of simply just having a select thing where it outlines what you want to click on, but that will always just feel weird on the island when choosing a place you want to go to, or even just while interacting with your Miis with the little orange buttons on the side. But Nintendo are fantastic developers and I'm sure they'll be able to find a way around it. Is a bit of a stretch, but a very underground streamer under the name TommyInit recently streamed Tomodachi Life Live, which sort of boosted the popularity of the game to a certain extent. It proved to be a VOD that broke the average amount of views you'd find on the channel, but then again, I suppose this could be a bit of a desperate attempt to convince myself that there will be another game in the future. That's it. That was my last reason. Yeah, I guess I don't actually have much of a reason to think Tomodachi Life will be on Switch, so it's mostly just wishful thinking and a lot of forging of reasons, but I guess I do have some pretty solid points here. The next Nintendo Direct will likely be in May. As they do Nintendo Directs about 4 times a year. The last one was in February, and I have no idea what they're going to announce, but I know that it will be good. I personally am praying for Yokai Watch 4, but we can't get everything we want in life. Some other games I want on Switch are Rhythm Thief, Twilight Princess, Nintendo Switch Party, and Nintendo Switch Fit, and also a Nintendo Game Boy Online system. I have no idea what they're going to announce at the next Nintendo Direct, but we can only hope for something Tomodachi related, and just keep on asking. At the end of the day, Nintendo has already kind of spoiled us with everything they've given us in the past few years on the Switch. I mean, Breath of the Wild just knocked it out of the park with the story and visuals, and Super Mario Odyssey was just a perfect world to explore, though we all only want one thing, Tomodachi Life. That's all from me, and I'll see you in a bit.